It has been called the worst humanitarian crisis since the Second World War. The war in Syria forcing more than 11 million people to flee their homes. Nearly 40,000 of them have made their way here to Canada to a new home, a new life, a new start. Jim Estel is a business owner from Guelph, Ontario, and when he decided he wanted to help, he did so in a huge way. Jim has sponsored 58 families from Syria, bringing more than 220 refugees to this country over the course of the past year. We're just looking at some pictures of Jim. Jim joins us now from Vancouver. Jim, Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Likewise.
All right, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I could see it was a big crisis that was happening, and as you say, likely the biggest humanitarian crisis in my lifetime, and I did not want to grow old and say I stood by and did nothing. So I just decided to do it.
Jim, I have to correct. I think I said Vancouver. Obviously, I meant Kitchener. What has been the biggest challenge so far, Jim?
Well, it's really like running a business. There's not one big challenge, there's a bunch of little challenges. So we had some challenges getting people here. The government was a little bit slow. Now it's freed up and they're coming in great and fast numbers. And we also learned the difficulty in learning English quickly. It does take quite a while to become proficient.
And how is everybody adjusting?
Most of them are doing very, very well. They're definitely fitting in and integrating, and I believe that 90% of them or more will be very successful in Canada.
And how often do you check in with the families?
Well, every week I would see many of the families. So literally every day pretty well there's some touch point with one family or another.
And what have been some of their concerns? What have they told you?
Well, their concerns are how are they going to support themselves. Success is 50 families working, paying taxes, buying groceries where you or I buy groceries, speaking English. And that's a big challenge because imagine if someone took all your stuff and moved you to a foreign country where you didn't speak the language and no one recognized your credentials. And that's the situation that they're in. But they're adjusting very, very well and accepting their new situation. And they're very grateful for being here.
And how do you measure success, Jim, for these families?
Well, success is just as I said, it's families working, paying taxes, supporting themselves. Failure would be people coming in and being on welfare. So that's really the success. Although I guess the biggest success is people being here and being safe. And we've definitely accomplished that, bringing them to safety.
And you always seem to have a plan on the go. So do you have any plans to bring more families to Canada? What's in the future?
I am looking at bringing more families, but nothing concrete because we're still, we only have 47 of our 58 families here. We're going to get another 11. And so let's get the ones we have in dealt with first.
And what has that process been like for you on your end in terms of the logistics of getting people over here, getting them settled, the jobs? How's it been for you?
Well, what's important is the settlement, and it's just like running Danby Appliances. I actually don't do anything. I have a group of volunteers in this case that do it. There's 800 registered volunteers, and we've organized like a business. So I have director of jobs, director of housing, director of transportation, director of food, director of mentorship, and every family has an Arabic-speaking mentor family and English-speaking mentor families, and they have checklists to ride the bus with them and set up a bank account and get them a library card and all of the sorts of things, do their English as a second language testing, and then do scorecards to see how are they adjusting and do they need more English tutoring or what do they need to help them land successfully in Canada. It's much more about the settlement than anything else.
And what's it like for you to see the children that are here, seeing some of them seeing snow for the first time? What's that experience been like?
Oh, the children, of course, are children, and they will adjust and are adjusting perfectly. And the children learn English accent-free very, very quickly. In 3 or 4 months, most of the kids can speak English, and the other school children accept them, and I think all of the children are doing exceptionally well.
Well, what a wonderful thing that you've done. Jim, we really appreciate you joining us this morning. Good luck with everything in the future.
Well, thanks for having me.